listening to the What Happens When podcast.
What happens when two guys sit in front of a laptop talking about God knows what?
And here is your host, Gene Van Horn.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the world's second most dangerous podcast. I am your host, Gene Van Horn. If you're new to the show, this is a show about a couple of friends just sitting around a laptop talking about whatever the heck we want. So, I am a former entertainment manager. Listen to me stumbling. What the heck is the matter with me? It's been a while since I've done a show, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, this show is not sponsored by Coke. This is just me drinking one. Apparently, I'm supposed to share it with a firefighter. That's kind of weird, though. Anyways, it's a show where we just sit around and talk about things that we like. So usually it's like either something entertainment industry-wise. I was an entertainment manager for No Limit forever for about, 8 or 9 years. I managed Master P, Silk the Shocker, Little Romeo, the likes, G5J, those types of people. And Keith Kloss, NBA player. Shout out to Big Keith. But yeah, we basically, just kind of share stories and just talk about whatever it is we like. We say what we want. We make up our own facts. So take those opinions and deal with it, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to my guests this week. We don't have the regular host. They're not here. So it's me, my guest, a close friend of mine, a good friend of mine, who became a close friend of mine. Just all around awesome human being, saleswoman extraordinaire, just moved into the fabulous world of real estate. And we'll get to know a little bit more about that. Miss Krissy White.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm actually excited to be here. We haven't talked in a long time, so
I know.
This is perfect.
Dude, it's been a while since we actually talk. I think we've text or Insta message.
Oh yeah, here and there, asking about family and all that good stuff, but actually sit down and ramble and talk about dumb shit. It's been a while.
It has been a while, which was one of our favorite pastimes.
To say the very least, yeah.
Right. Which usually would end up with Reef doing something silly or something, right? Shout out to Reef Coleman.
I have a video of Reef. He's amazing. Actually, he was just on another podcast, and I heard his story of how his mom came over from Uruguay, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a video in my phone that I completely forgot about, and it's Reef with a stack of ones.
Uh-huh.
And he's holding it up. He's like, "Hello, I can't hear you," and he's just flipping through the ones. I'm like, that is Reef Coleman.
Yeah. Yes, I remember that video. So shout out to Reef Coleman, doing his thing in San Diego now. So that's actually how we met, by the way. Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, I was gonna. Was that work?
Were you swimming? What were you doing? You were gonna work out or swim or something.
Yeah, I went to go swim, and I was not expecting a job interview at the very least. And Ruth and I just got to talking, and I lived in San Diego for a while, and that's how we kind of struck a conversation. And then I was looking for a job at the time, and he was just like, "Well, I'm going to talk to my manager. You go work out, come back, and we'll see what we can do." And I came back just soaking wet, still in a towel, my one piece from swimming. And he's like, "Yeah, I got you an interview." I was like right now? What? I can't go home. So yeah.
Yeah, super unconventional to say the least.
Yeah, but he's definitely a connector.
Yeah. I mean, it worked out well, and I think I talked to you very briefly in that first meeting. It was just "Hey, nice to meet you," and he was like, "Oh, this is the girl that I was telling you about. She's super cool. I think she'll be great." And I think we talked for maybe about 5 minutes, maybe. And I was like,
"Yeah,
okay, we'll set up something more formal, come back." And then we did, and we hired you, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's where you became the artist formerly known as the Kiosk Bandit.
That is probably still to this day my favorite nickname ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I don't know who started it, whether it was me, Rodney, Justin. Somebody started calling you that, and it just stuck. It was funny.
I had no idea. I remember coming into your office, and there were a few of you guys, and you guys just said it "Oh, it's the Kiosk Bandit," and I'm like, what does that mean? What did I do?
Yeah, you thought it was something bad at first, and I think it's great. So what I'm referencing, ladies and gentlemen, is we worked in the sales industry, and kiosk is where people check in, as like either their first time seeing your product, and we were in a brick and mortar, and she came in, and she just, as soon as somebody went over to that kiosk to type in their information, there's Krissy, like, hi, how you doing? I'm Krissy, nice to meet you. Let me take you on a tour.
Yeah, and we were taught not to do that. We were taught like the higher ups go first, and I was like, no, I want to talk to people. Let me just say hi. People are coming in.
They would get
I'm gonna say hi to them.
they would get so mad at me because I would just let you just skip the up system.
Hey, if I wasn't selling, I know you would have called me out. So
100%, 100%. I said, well, if y'all beat her, you could take it, but if she's gonna close it usually or not, so I still do that right now. To me, certain things don't matter, right? So okay, there's an old saying that I think I may have said on the podcast before, but it's one of my favorite sayings. And one of these teachers that I had in like 7th grade, he told this to another kid. He said, "A log that sits in a river for 1,000 years doesn't become a crocodile." And just because you got seniority and you've been in a place for a long time doesn't mean that you're apex predator. So
no, there was people there for a while, but
yeah, yeah. Shout out to
but
those
it was a
people.
lot of fun.
Shout out to those people.
Big shout out.
You might have been there for a while, but you just was no apex predator. You was no kiosk bandit. So I still do that right now, man. I no lie. My team gets so mad because they're like, "Well, I've been here." I'm like, "Hey, I don't care. Best person takes a guess."
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it should be. That's kind of why like being in the real estate industry now, it's awesome because it's not how long you've been in the industry, it's how hard you work, how much you know, all that good stuff. Like that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite things. I know I'm young and I haven't been there for a while, but it's an even playing field.
I think between me and Reef, and I say this with all hubris. I think between me and Reef, I think you're probably one of the best people in the building.
Thank you. That
Yeah,
means a lot.
I think with
Dude, that was my favorite working with you guys. It was so much fun.
we had a blast. And so it's always fun when you're winning, right? I don't think we
God,
had
yes.
losing months where we were just like, we hate this. We had grind months, but I don't think we had losing months, right?
Yeah, no, I remember those late nights like, oh, we can't go home till we hit quota. I'm like, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
Just talking to everybody that we could and like annoying the crap out of people.
Yeah, like, yo, we need to add on or something, bro. You need to figure this out. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, I know I asked you last week, but let's go. I know you know someone. Like just talking to the guys to be like, hey, we know you got 5 girlfriends. You got to sign one of them up. We got to sign one of them up.
That's RD's line right there. I know you got like 5 girlfriends, bro. We need to sign one of them up. Yeah, there's that one time we were in the office and I was ready to go home. And I think it was like me, Reef. I think maybe you were there or not. And Rodney and like 2 other people. And Rodney said, we need one deal and we could all go home. It was like 10:40. And I called a friend on the phone like, yo, today's the day, buddy. I need your credit card. I was like, here, let's go home.
Better send it. Yeah, I remember we used to take trips to go to get those Visa cards.
Oh, yeah.
I think I still have one in my wallet. I'm not going to lie that I haven't spent.
It's probably got like $10 on it left.
Wouldn't be surprised at all.
That was probably one that we activated and then we just, something happened and we didn't enter it. And I was just like, yeah, just keep it. Who cares?
Yeah, we're going to need it next time.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
We'll need it sooner or later. You didn't get to make it to the, did you do the LA County Fair?
I didn't. I had the other job at the time.
Oh, that was the best. You missed
Dude,
it.
what's so funny is I went from that job, which I talked to, everybody and anyone that I can set my eyes on, and I went to a job that's had me at a cubicle, didn't talk to anybody. And I remember coming to talk to you guys a few months later,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh my God, I forgot how to talk to people. Like, what the hell? I was like, this is not good. So luckily, like, again, I'm in an industry that I guess it's gonna talk to everyone again.
Yeah.
But I remember like, oh, I forgot that it's a skill. It's not something that you have on you all the time.
Yeah, you know, people always say like they think uh I get told a lot, yo, you have the gift of gab, right? Like you're just able to talk. And I'm like, yo, I read the Bible a bunch of times. That's not one of the gifts of the spirits, you know? Like that's not something, you know, this is a skill. Like I learned how to be I'm not that person outside of work, right? Like I'm not that I want to talk to you and learn your whole life story person outside of work. Um,
Mhm.
you know, because I'm in sales and because I'm in you know, like service industry and stuff like that, I learned how to communicate with human beings on a level that makes them spend money with me, right? Um,
Absolutely.
but I like when you don't do it for a while, like okay, pandemic hit um last year and then they closed everything down and then I came back and I was like out of practice, you know. And when you're out of
Mm.
practice, you can't hit that you just can't just jump back in and ask somebody for like 6 grand, you know. It takes
No,
it
you
takes
can't.
time. What are you laughing at?
Yeah. I just funny, just 6 grand was a random number. But
Yeah.
it's so true. And especially like because you're so on, especially before like the pandemic, you were just on it and then you go back and you can't do it. You're like, oh, it kind of sucks at the end of the day, even though you know like you just need to get it back. It's just like, oh, like I don't have it like I used to, which is just me. Mm.
Yeah. Do you remember how much so you guys got real high level training from Reef and myself. Like we weren't
Mhm.
talking about basic sales training stuff. We were moving you guys into like fast lane, and I think that's why we crushed so well. And I think that's going to help you big time and gives you a leg up over the like rookie real estate people in your area. One, you're great and smart individual altogether. You're great to look at,
Thank
which
you.
is which is always a plus,
Thank you.
right? Um, and then the skill that Reef and myself helped you develop while you were with us for that short time. And you know, we always talk and share stuff and advice still now, but it was like every day, every week, we were training, and you were getting like 15 years of my experience just downloaded, and you was taking notes and all kind of stuff, and a lot of people don't get that. So Caesar ended up leaving and going to a different company, and he was
Mhm.
crushing everybody and he was like, "Dude, I didn't realize how much I didn't know before we started working together." Have
Mhm.
you have you like looked around at some of your peers right now and be like, "This guy's an idiot."
Yeah, I don't want to say yeah like that. But like hell yeah, everyone else. No, I'm just kidding. But it really was. I like that you literally just threw us out there. It was training role play, but it was like, okay, there's a real client, like go do it. And you also used to reward us. Like I remember like role play was the biggest thing, like, hey, let's handle some objections, let's do A, B, and C like we would in a real like day. But I remember also you guys are fantastic teachers, but like unless someone was willing to learn, you got a thick brain
Yeah.
in the nicest way possible. That's what I can put it. And you guys put so much hours like into us, so many hours, and I'm like so appreciative of that. And I remember like in the beginning of the sales, I would be super like, um, I didn't want to do role play. It made me super nervous, but I was always the first one to volunteer. Like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna get it over with, do this thing. And I love it because you guys gave me an environment that made me so freaking uncomfortable that I was able to just be like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. That means I really need to do this,
Mhm.
So you guys provided such a fantastic environment, such a like fantastic, just a training experience, and it really did help me grow as a person.
Yeah.
And to this day, I will text you and like, I remember at my new job, I was having a hard time because they wanted me to sell something, and we haven't talked in a few months, and I texted you, I'm like, hey, how would you handle this situation? And we sat on the phone for like 20, 30 minutes, and you're just like, hey, this is what I would do. So it's like not only the training that you gave me, but the relationship we built and the fact that you're still willing to help me and put the time and the effort into me as an individual and like a sales representative, obviously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I credit that to a lot of good leaders that I've had. Um, I could reference two off the top of my head, Mark Power and Rodney Daniel, who both have really mentored me and showed me that if somebody's willing to learn or willing to put in that time, uh, I'm not only doing them a disservice, I'm doing myself a disservice to not help that person out, and it's not really always about like me or my time, or because I got kids and I got a wife, and I've got things I have to do, but it makes me better as a like teacher and as a person, to help somebody like yourself who's actually willing to put the time in. Because you're absolutely right. If somebody is not willing to learn or put the time in, or I just ain't gonna do it. I'll just have yourself.
Absolutely. That's the one thing I was always worried about, because you guys used to like constructive criticism, like always. And my biggest fear was like the day that they don't give me advice, or don't, I don't want to say like criticize because that's a negative connotation, but like try to pull me aside and help me out and, hey, this is what you can do better, is probably like the day that I'd be like super worried, because I'm like, oh my God, like they're not putting the time and effort in and paying attention to what I'm doing. So like I never wanted that to happen, just because I thought your guys' time and instruction was so valuable that I was like, oh, like I better learn all I can.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that effort, and I know you're gonna kill it. That's why I was so happy for you in real estate, because I mean you're in California, which is the prices are stupid high,
They're
so
ridiculous, yeah.
so you're gonna make a lot of money, and I think that you're the kind of person that will invest into somebody else like yourself. You'll see, because what I did was I saw you in like me and you, right? I saw like the eagerness, the anxiety, the frustration, I saw all of that, and I was like, okay, I can work with that because I've been there. I know what that looks like, right? And I think we help give you that confidence. You always had like a cockiness, right? Because you're an athlete, right? Athletes, which is what we usually look for when we hire, right? Because
Yeah.
athletes have that like, I could do this type feel. Um, but we helped you turn that into like a confidence where it wasn't just like a spry wily kid. It was now like a saleswoman, like a businesswoman who's going to handle this situation. And we always felt, and I'll speak for Rodney, we always felt comfortable in you talking with a guest or whatnot, like, or just running them through and showing them what we got. I think we just needed to hone just those little sales skills, 5 steps of overcoming objections and stuff like that, that we just kind of drilled into you, that now probably will become like, for me, I do it in my everyday life. Like, my wife hates it.
Yeah. Gotta agree. I disagree.
Yeah, I'm like,
Agree
no,
and be
babe,
empathetic. Yep.
I told you, I totally understand that. Like, I understand, but here's what I know. Yeah,
Mhm.
she hates it. She's like, don't do that. Don't
She
five
calls you
step me.
out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
No, 5 step. I
Yeah,
remember when we had like the 5 steps posted, and I was like, why? Like, do
because if you
you remember
don't drill, you'll forget.
that? But I remember like one time a client being like, is this what
Yeah.
you're doing? I'm like, yes, sir. Is it working?
I've been busted out so many times because it's posted right there. Uh, that's funny.
Jeez.
You know what's crazy is I have a team right now, and there's a couple of the members, the team members that I really I invest time in, right? And then there's a lot of them I don't even see. Like, it's not the vibe we used to have. Yeah, we had a really good vibe, and I like my team now. I really do. There's a couple of people on there that I really enjoy working with, and then there's some of them. It's just like, why are you here? Like, why don't you quit, please? Because you know me, I don't like firing
That's
people.
always a big question.
I like letting them fire themselves. Like,
Yeah.
just leave. I'll talk to somebody and say, hey, like, you probably should just go before it gets to the point where I have to write this and write that, write this, and then now you're gone. I don't want to get to that point.
Yeah.
I don't even
And it's
think you
probably at
see me
that point they're
fire
not even
someone.
satisfied.
Yeah,
No, never.
yeah. Did I fire? Did I lose? I don't even think I lost anybody. My retention rate out here has dropped dramatically. I can't keep team members.
Why? Do you know
Nope.
why? Is there
Um, it's a different vibe out here in Texas. You know, I
Okay,
won't say
like
it's
you mean like culture or like the people or
yeah. What I was told a lot is like these people out here like to work, and then I found out that they don't. You know,
yeah.
they like to work within the limitations of a 9 to 5 job. You know.
Yeah, because I think like LA too is like go, go, go. And I don't know if that culture is everywhere, especially in, Tejas.
This must be a
I think
friend
it's
of
a lot more
yours.
slower.
Who's Deja Brown? Do
Which
you know
one?
Deja Brown?
I do. Tell her that I love her. Well, can't you see me?
I don't have to tell her. She can see you and hear you.
Well, then Deja. Thank you, Deja. I don't know what you said, but
She just gave hearts. She gave hearts.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Hi, Deja Brown. How are you? Welcome to the show. Um, no, one thing I really noticed about you off the jump is your confidence in your ability to accomplish something, and that's a hard trait for a person to have, um, especially when somebody like yourself suffers an injury. Because
Yeah.
y'all don't know out there, she blew her whole knee off.
I still need another surgery. I don't know if I told you that.
You didn't do it?
No, so I did, but like, so they tore my ACL, right? But they put a cadaver in me from, I think it was like another animal, something else, but my body rejected it. So my body never fully healed. It tore like freaking paper. I was literally walking down the stairs and it retore.
Jeez.
So I have hopefully my second to last surgery at the end of April. And
Ouch.
then one more after that to fix my arthritis. But here's the thing, like, I'm I've done it 3 times before.
Yeah.
I'm young, so it's not like I won't heal up. I'm super confident in my ability to do like the physical therapy and for my body to heal. And they now know kind of what went wrong in the second and third surgery. So that problem is going to be fixed. And I also really want to snowboard and surf and like backpack across Europe in the future. And I can't do that without an ACL. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
that'd be pretty
one
tough.
more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. I might have to be in the backpack and someone carrying me, but
Tom, is it Tom still or is it somebody else?
no, we broke up at the end of like November-ish.
No, well, you blew it, Tom.
No, yeah.
Shout out to Tom. You blew it. You make some guy really happy.
I shouldn't be laughing at that.
What? So, yeah, I remember Reef was always trying to talk you into something. And you're like, nope, Tom. Nope. Nope. Tom.
I just like when I'm in a relationship, it's I'm incredibly loyal. Yeah, but that was an interesting phase in the
Yeah.
beginning of my relationship. Yeah, absolutely. But like I will never talk bad about Tom. I think he is like an amazing human being. Like we just were not the ones for each other, and we both were super unhappy. And I now take my happiness over everything, and I'm now incredibly happy, and I'm following my dream, and I've like found myself again. So I'm like, okay,
Right.
I'm chilling.
I feel
Yeah.
that. I feel that. No, I get it. You unfriended Tom like he still had his MySpace page.
I was just gonna, I'm gonna talk about how I entered Facebook Live. I'm like, man, I gotta like MySpace. Think about MySpace. Like, you know how cool it would be to come on like the What Happens webcast on Tunes from like just jamming.
So we have like when one of my other hosts, Negagas, is on, we have like little play-ins, but early on we got like DCMA struck, so we only play little clips of it because I don't want him to keep pulling my videos down. It's irritating. So no tunes. No tunes
No
from here
tunes.
unless we own the music. Or I
Damn.
know somebody who does. I could probably play a
Yeah,
bunch
like
of like no limit stuff and not get struck for it, but who wants to hear that?
you'll learn how to play guitar. Just like do that in the background. Have someone play guitar in the background.
Yeah, maybe Reef. He seems like a guy that plays guitar.
I think he just yodel or something. I think he'd be really good at that for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was good times. It was one of my favorite memories. I think I don't know, or just like one of my favorite times coming to work was when you come in the Kim Possible outfit.
In the black boots and the green pants.
And I don't think you did it on purpose. Go ahead. What you
No, but the whole day you guys called me Kim Possible. The whole day, Kim Possible, and then every day after that, that's the only thing I answered to. It wasn't Krissy. I only turned around. I was like, what's the stitch? Like, what's going on? But funny enough, my text tone is usually it's Kim Possible.
Of course, of course, of course. So what's new with you? So you got real estate going on. Did you graduate college?
Didn't I dropped out? I'm so tired of it.
Good. Well,
so tired of it. I just like my favorite thing, like going to work and being around people. And I was like, I remember me having times like, man, I have homework, always complaining that I had to do that. And like one thing that I was going to, two things that I was going to college for was A, obviously to learn, and B, to talk to people because I love people. I wasn't doing either of that. It was all online. So I was cheating, and then I wasn't meeting anybody because it was all online.
yeah.
I was like, oh, like I had a 4.0, but I was like, I'm not learning anything, and this is just time consuming. And I still had a few years left. I'm like, I don't want to do this.
And they're just taking your money.
Yeah, my parents funny, so.
Yeah. The parents are like, yes. No, it's terrible, honey. Whew.
I can put away my paycheck, right? We're not doing another semester, you sure?
Yeah.
We're good.
No, so volleyball was your sport, and you played throughout high school, and then in college where you blew it out, or did you blow it out in high school?
Throughout college, 2 weeks before championships.
Mm.
2 weeks before. That was my favorite thing, like, because I went from high school, and in high school we weren't very, the girls weren't very friendly. Like there was, just a lot of drama, like some girls' team can be, but going into college, we were all very on the same page because, in college, it's like you're there to play. You're there to play, you're there to win. And so it was very nice, and the girls were super sweet, and it was like we all just wanted it, which is my favorite freaking thing. And then I went from having this like whole team of girls going to practice, playing sports. I loved 5 days a week, or 6 to 7 days a week, 5 hours a day, to like just be bedridden. And it was awful. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. Yeah.
That sucks. Were you outside hitter?
I was all around. I was both outside opposite, and then I was back row. What's your daughter? What does she play?
She's setter. So
Jeez, that's a tough position.
Yeah, she's a tough kid. Yeah, she's been playing shoot since I worked back there in California. She was on that travel team. They went undefeated, and then she came out here. And fourth year is a little bit different than out there. I mean, you go to a middle school Thursday night, 7th grade volleyball game, and the whole gym was packed. Like
what?
Packed house, just music playing, people chanting and screaming. It was ridiculous. I'm like, these people
Is
need
that
a
just
hobby.
in your area, or
No,
is
no.
that like all over? What? That's pretty cool. I like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. So she went from being one of the best players on her team to being one of the best players on her school team, but then other kids played club and stuff like that. So we put club. She's grown a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, her dad is 5'8", and her mom's a midget in a bathrobe. So that's not.
What's funny is you say midget in a bathroom, but the way you talk about your wife is the cutest thing ever. You're probably such a huge.
I know, right?
But don't let the exterior fool you guys. Piece of sap.
for sure, especially with her. But so my daughter's probably about just under 5'1", like maybe 5 feet right now. But she's playing setter, and they on her club team they put her on outside hitter because she could smash the ball.
Good for her.
Yeah, she's getting up and crushing.
I remember peppering with her, like when we were just at work.
Yeah.
Try not to hit anyone that came in. We just like the ball back and forth for hours. I'm like, I like this. I get it for school.
Right. Shout out to Mackenzie Barty for showing up tonight for the podcast. Yeah. Most people look at me like when I'm working and stuff, and they're just like, "Dude, what do you do?" And I'm like, nothing. if I do my job right with you guys, right, I don't really have to do anything. Right.
Okay, explain.
So if I trained you guys well enough and I did my job there, I don't really have to do much of the selling. I could just kind of goof off until like I'm actually needed, right?
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Like think about how much selling you actually saw me do there. It wasn't every day. I was in like 15 or 16, pre-sales. I wasn't in that many.
Yeah,
probably
but you're always there when we needed you to tap in though.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because I want to win. I want to lose at the end of the day. I want to make sure we win. Remember how important it was to me?
That's the only thing you talked about. That thing, and then you calling the guy. I don't know if you remember that. I couldn't get like he saw his friend at work. I don't know the story. I don't know the story.
Just tell the story. Fine.
So this one guy like came in. He was like looking at our products, and he saw a friend as well that was there, and they started talking, but like kind of interject and join and be a part of the conversation. And I could not get in that conversation to the life of me, so I came back to you, and I think like maybe Caesar at the time, and you were like. And you just start going off, and I was like, hey, like I cannot get in the conversation to save the life of me. Like, okay, watch this. And you go and you go around to the two, and you're like, hey, how do you guys know each other? Like, work? Do you guys work in the factory?
Yeah. I was like, the factory, right?
And I could not keep my cool. I had to go underneath the desk and just like try to silently laugh. And I just like kept going. There were a few other like Willy Wonka references put in the conversation. I was like, oh my god. Oh god, it was the best.
Now that you tell the story, I totally remember that. Yeah. That's crazy,
really
huh?
short
And he didn't even
arms.
call me out on it. He didn't even know.
No, you're sincere though. I can't.
Oh,
There was a lot of it. Oh my goodness.
yeah, it was good times. But yeah, right now my team's doing really well. We finished one of the months over like 160%. I think in January.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
yeah, it was pretty good. I think it was like a region's best. Um, so we did really well, but I didn't really sell that much. I mean, I wasn't the top salesperson in the club, um, so it doesn't really bother me. I don't. I feel like my job is to impart into you guys, like the people, right? And they're supposed to do the rest. And if I did that right, then we'll,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, you wasn't really good at that. I remember our assistant sales manager caused us some trouble though.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah, good old Bone.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was one of the funnest jobs I've had, man. Like I remember also just being on the phone and just fucking around with people and just trying to get them to stay on the phone. That was our only goal. Get them to stay on the phone.
yeah,
And I still use those techniques to this freaking day.
yeah.
Like 20 minutes, they're like, wait, who is this? I'm like, now you. After I got like your social security, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you get all the information you can. They're like, wait a minute, who is this? Yeah.
Yeah, I got their aunt's name, where they live, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was great.
That was always fun. Remember we tried to stock the break room with cereal and drinks and stuff like that. You remember that?
That was the very beginning of
Yep.
when I got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that last? I didn't last very well, I don't think.
No, it lasted. I kept doing it. I kept doing it. The
Really?
cereal stuff like that started to taper off because that wasn't my responsibility. My responsibility was drinks.
Thanks.
Yeah, bangs or waters or Gatorades. I would buy a whole bunch and just bring it in there because it keeps team morale up. I like to do stuff like that. Like the position I'm in right now, I'm a little bit overwhelmed because I'm kind of doing my job. I'm doing my boss's job sometimes, and then like I'm doing a couple other jobs all in one. So I'm a little bit overwhelmed with just other stuff. Uh, and then I'm literally consumed with trying to move up, which is weird because I hate being in the corporate world. I really do. Like that's why I started my digital marketing company. Shout out to Negagots and Digital Guerrilla Media. But that's why I started that because I need to get to a point where I could just be self-sustained. Like the corporate life isn't really my end game. It's a means to an end,
Mhm.
but it's not my end game.
Yeah.
I don't want to work for nobody because as the shutdown showed us, what the hell was I going to do? They didn't care about me. They didn't care about my staff.
Yeah.
They didn't care about whether or not I just had a kid at the time. So the baby Noah was born, and she'll be one by the way on Friday.
You're such a beautiful family. They're all so cute.
Thank you. They take after their mother. So
The same thing. Just kidding.
I agree. I concur, Doctor. I concur. But I was just talking to my wife today because I'm gonna go for this other promotion, and pretty much I was told I wasn't gonna get it, right? Like, but I wasn't told by the person who's supposed to tell me. I was told by like somebody that talks to that person.
Okay.
And I was like, cool. So I got really frustrated. But then I kind of remember like a life lesson I try to teach my kids, which is life isn't, what happens to you. It's about how you react to what happens to you. So I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'm not supposed to move up in this company. Maybe I'm just supposed to grind out on this other thing. Because I have 4 campaigns starting next month. And my partner's like, hey, bro, how many do we have? And I was like, yeah, we need to talk Thursday because these things start on like Mondays. So let's have a
Damn.
convo and settle all the paperwork and everything this week. But yeah, I just told my wife like, I'm just focus more and just grind out because we get to the point where I'm gonna have to like drive Uber or work more at a second job or something. And it's like I don't want to do that. I'm 37 years old. I don't want to be that heavily grinding for somebody else. I'd rather grind for myself.
Absolutely. So explain to me what a campaign entails, because it sounds like 4 is a lot, but what
So for
goes
is a
into
lot
one?
like any. So we handle digital marketing, which a lot of people like associate with social media marketing, which are 2 big different things. But basically, um, the campaign. So one of them is a hair salon called it's called Hollywood to Houston. So basically, it's like a lady who wants to bring the Hollywood style to Houston, Texas. Um, and do all of that. So we're gonna be doing like her hairstyles. They just built a new place, so we're gonna do like her open video, like the new place, the before and after, all of that. We're gonna do for on her Instagram, her Facebook, Google Ads. We're gonna create the whole marketing campaign, right? So it's like this is the re-grand opening of Hollywood to Houston. So we're taking all these pictures of these hairstyles, these before and after, time lapse. We're building all of that, as well as doing her ad space on Google Ads, on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all the social media platforms, as well as we're doing her SEO optimization, right? So there's a lot that goes into one person, which is why it costs so much. Um, so 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 we have four of them all starting at the same time. Some of them were only doing like Google Ads, Facebook ads. So all of their regular social media posts, we're not doing. We handle those. We're gonna handle the ad campaign, right?
So is your company like, do they offer like packets and they tell you, hey, here's what you get in each, here's like the different tiers that you can choose for, or do they pick like, hey, I want like these four and then you price afterwards? How does that work?
So basically, we talk about what their needs are, and then I'll tell them how much it's gonna cost them.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah, because if I start giving people options, they're gonna lowball me to whatever the lowest price is, right? Yeah. So what I always tell them, especially because we're starting right now, is like, hey, look, we'll work with what your budget is, but if it's under X number, it's a waste of our time and yours.
Absolutely. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now it's like that's how like especially in the video business, you can't really know people. And like with hackers, you don't really. I'm still always like open to help people find whatever home they want, like whether it's renting or buying. But like I don't really, I kind of lose my into renters, but like I'm always really help, and I can't know, so I always like constantly trying to expand. Like, there's always something that like you're always trying to help and reach out and do like what you can. But I think once you take off and explode, you're like, hey, here's the price. Here's what it's gonna be. Here's all the past work I've done. Like, hey, wait.
Yeah. I think we worked on you saying it before, right? Like that was something that Krissy was. You're a people pleaser because you like people, so you like want to help out and stuff.
Always. I've overloaded my plate. Yeah. A lot of things. I got that. We did talk about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's more of saying no to right now. Obviously, certain aspects of my life come first, like business before party, right? So it's saying no to that, or saying no to seeing two people on the same night because maybe I just like want a night in. That's kind of what I've been working on right now, is taking down my social life and giving some people like less time because I don't have as many obligations. Like before I was in a relationship and I had friends and I needed to give X amount of people X amount of time, and now it's like I kind of in the stage in life where I just want to focus on growing myself. And like, okay, so you talked about how athletes have the confidence and the cockiness.
Mm-hmm.
That was fake until you get it. Mm-hmm. That was fake until you get it for me. And this just gave freaking confidence and it felt good. But yeah, I just kind of say no to the things that I can't do, and pleasing less is freaking hard, but it's so necessary.
Yeah. And I'm just getting a text that says the feed is pretty bad. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's not going to matter if you go subscribe at air.com or anchor.fm. Subscribe there, you hear the whole thing. Sorry for skipping. We recently had a bunch of power outage in our area, so our internet's not what it usually is. So, screw yourself. I'm just kidding. Don't. Yeah. Well, you did a good job at faking it to me because you came in really, really like confident and stuff like that. I remember like seeing the doubt in the okay, I'm gonna just go this even though I have no clue what I'm doing, but you had a silent confidence about yourself that I think you felt that if you really applied yourself to whatever it is we were teaching you, you'd get it done. I think you got that.
Yeah, I think it was based on if I did A, B, and C, I should be confident. Right. And like now it's like unconditional. The ball's in my court at all times. But like before, I was like, okay, like if I do this, I just trust the process. Like basically, just like, yeah, fuck it. Like let's just get after it. And I was in a team that wanted to win and likes to win just like I do. So that helped. We were pretty ruthless, and it was awesome.
Yeah, we were. Even with each other too. Like I don't think my new team doesn't understand like how we were getting after each other too. Like remember when Craich wasn't doing good, we were just eating him alive, And I had to have some serious like, hey, you need to come talk to coach and bring your playbook type talks, and it was a tough team. You couldn't be an average salesperson and survive on that team.
No, but you also couldn't be soft. Like I was just shit on each other. like being in the office and being like, hey, you lost 2 today. What happened, huh? Like, let me take the next one.
Like you're not. I got it. Don't worry about it. You know who used to get so mad? Is Justin used to get so mad. He missed, and one of you guys hit. He used to hate it. He was like, that person was just stupid. Like, no, they were stupid, bro.
So I'm going to recount this. Fuck this.
Why was he always at Marie Callender's?
They had buy one get one photos. They are not sponsored by Marie Callender's, you guys.
No, no, we're not sponsored by Marie Callender's. Maybe Justin is. Maybe
I was just gonna say he's not.
talk so much about Marie's. That's cool. That's funny.
I remember used to fuck on me like Marie's up here? Yeah, Marie's.
Yeah.
So let's go to Marie's. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. I'm just I like to bear. I like to
Absolutely. That's what made it fun. That's what, like, yeah, that's fine now. So I'm on a team myself, and one of them is like super sarcastic and like fun, likes to poke fun at you. And he doesn't come into the office as much because we have a bunch of new people. It's like, I don't know how the people are going to take me to humor. And after he jokes with it, I'm just kidding. I'm like, dude, do you know who I worked with? Like, no, I worked before. Like, this isn't a thing. Like, just keep going. It's hilarious. I'm like cracking up.
That's funny. Yeah, that was good times. It was really good times. Like I tell you, I think every time we talk, I tell you how much I miss that team and how much I miss, hanging out with you guys, because it's very few people I like outside of work. But just pretty much the whole team's just willingness to like get after it, and everybody wanted to be better at something, whether within the company or outside or growth, or there was a lot going on, and we all hung out. Like I still tell most of them.
Yeah.
The only one I don't talk to is Crach.
I gotta hit him up, man. It's been a while. I see you guys at the gym I go to right now. But yeah, everyone was hungry.
Yeah.
In one way or another, they wanted something. And
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you? Are you back in arcade, or you're still on IE?
No, as soon as we split, I went back home. So it was super like quick and unexpected, but I came back home. And it's honestly really nice to be back in the city because this is where all my friends are, and I've got to reconnect with everybody. So I'm back home right now.
Cool. So you're back in the city. That's cool. It feels weird. Like I'm just starting. My daughter left. She made me laugh, and we left last night because it's getting to the point where I was around there. Remember, I couldn't really go anywhere in that area without seeing somebody I know, or like one of the clients or something. It's getting to that point where like what a Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, oh, I talked to him the other day or something, and yesterday she's like, we were at a light or something, and somebody pulled up and it was like, dude, honk that little thing, and I looked over and it was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, what up, man? And she just shook her head. She was like, I hate you.
Is she getting to the teenage age, or she's kind of embarrassed?
No, because moving here, like she was really popular back home, right? So moving here, she had to start all over again, and she's got a couple friends here and there that she really hangs out with, but it's not like how it was over there where everybody was like, hey, Sergi, it's not like that. So she's like, how did I get it so fast and not her?
Because kids are assholes, man.
Yes. For real.
Yeah, kids are assholes.
Yeah, for sure. People in general are just jerks. But I think it's just because of the nature of my job. Like people, I really don't like people. Just in general, I just don't. I don't really like being around them. I don't like caring about their problems or stuff like that. Until we're close, right? Like if Krissy called me and said, "Hey, can I just talk to you for 30 minutes? Or do you have time?" I'm gonna make time, right? I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna talk, and I'm gonna be genuinely interested in helping Krissy figure out whatever it is going on, right? But if some other person maybe call me up, or I don't care. I don't really care about the issue. I don't care about the problem. Like, I have my own issues, my own problems. I really just want to be with my wife and left alone. Yeah, like, truly.
Yeah, you're like, I'm sorry, this is a little violin. There you go. Yeah, I remember because I'm always super smiley, and I remember one time coming into work and I just had shit day. Like I had something going on in my family or something. I just not having it. Yeah, and the second I got there, like, hey, like it literally pulled me in. I was like, what's going on? And I was like, what do you mean? Like I'm good. And you're like, no. Like, okay, like, I guess like I told you what's going on, but I just remember like the second I came in, you're like, what's going on? Like, what happened? I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. What's my rule? You gotta leave all of that crap outside the door, right?
Yep.
You gotta come in and none of that matters. This is Disneyland,
Yep.
You got yeah. That's one of my rules. So like I don't break it, so I expect you not to break that rule, right? So I talked to you.
Yep.
I heard everything was going on, and I was like, okay, you should probably go.
Yeah, that one thing was a big deal. Like Yeah, but
Yeah, I think I'm like, yeah,
that's
go be
all.
with your family. What are you doing
Yeah,
here?
I'm like, why the fuck are you here? Like,
I think I
it's not
probably
enough.
said that exact line.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you should leave.
yeah. Yeah, but dude, I remember like even that was definitely your role. I remember one time that I was feeling under the weather. You're like, okay, come make calls. I was like, what? You're like, you don't have to be around me. Get in the office, come make some calls. I'm like, okay. So I was sick. Came in like I think I was not even in my uniform. I was just all bundled up because I was sick and just in your phone calls. But I was just making calls.
Yeah, yeah. How'd it work? It went good, I guess. I don't
Well,
know.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But
No, I'm
good
definitely the
time.
guy that's like, if you can do it, we're gonna do it. But there's sometimes like you ain't got it. You know, you ain't got that day.
Yeah.
I've had to look at like my bosses or my guys and my people above me. I've had to look at Rodney some days and say, hey, I'm here today, Chief, but I'm not here. I ain't got it today. So if you need me, I could probably pull my head out of my butt to get something to happen. But pretty much I'm just wasted payroll today. Yeah. So I should probably
Yeah.
dip. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's being
Yeah, but
self aware helps. You got to be self aware.
absolutely. Yeah, and if you're not on, you're not on. And like there was never any shame like to that. I remember um me not being able to connect with client and passing off and there was never like any shame, any judgment I get from you guys because like you're obviously not gonna be for everybody and like you're not always gonna be on. We can be self-aware, accept that, and move on. And you
Yeah.
guys were always super, super good at that. And there was never I never felt like judged by you guys when I couldn't do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to pass people off to you like I'm not dealing with this person. This person is not for me. This is a Krissy person. Here, talk to Krissy. She'll help you out. Because I'm not gonna go for this. You want to hear about their dog and how their pets are doing, and look like your goldfish has a cough. I don't want to hear that crap. I'm like, flush them and get a new one.
Yeah, what else? As long as they buy at the end of the day, that's my life story.
Dude. Okay, so here's the problem, right? With my type of personality, if I start to care, I'm gonna care too much. So now I'm gonna be fully invested in this conversation, and then I'm gonna be angry if you don't make a decision to change your life today. So now it's gonna be, I'm losing sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, hate it. I hate it. I hate it. There's a lady the other day, and I just spoke to her. Her name's Julie. And I talked to Julie, and she's telling me, doctor says she's got to lose weight, this and this. She's got to, she's got to change her whole life. So I'm like, okay, here's what it's going to cost to help you get on this path. Well, I can't because of this. And I sat with Julie for probably about an hour, hour and a half. And I went through the whole thing. And I looked at her and I said, do you want to die?
I'm not surprised. There's zero surprise.
I was so frustrated at that point that I was like, do you want to die? She was like, well, no, nobody wants to die. That's what's going to happen to you if you don't make this decision today because I've been here before. Yeah. Needless to say, it did work, but that's what happens. You get me invested, and then, now I'm invested, right?
Yeah.
So now I got to go, figure the situation out. Like I'll lose sleep. Like that's my toxic trait is when I get involved, I get involved all the way. So if Krissy called me crying and there's stuff going on, I'm gonna lose sleep if I know we got off the phone or whatever and you weren't feeling better 100%. I'm not gonna be able to sleep because I'm invested in the success and the well-being of Krissy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that'll begin to happen with everybody if I let it, because that's the kind of human being I am. I get too involved. I don't go 6 months without talking to you. I will hit you if your family dies.
Well, yeah. But I think also like with certain issues, do you really like if they're not okay 100%? Will you not? Because I think a lot of issues need to be like slept on. Something needs to happen before them. Like, will you be okay if I feel better venting, or will you not feel better until like the issue is resolved?
As long as I know what is happening. If you're calling me to just vent everything you need to vent, I'm gonna all of that, and I'm like, all right, cool, you good? Yes, thank you so much. But if I hear, I'm really good at like subtle little nuances in human communication to where I'm like, something's not right. I'm gonna ask you 3 or 4 more times, and then if you don't get out, and then we can figure it out, I will lose sleep. Will I?
Oh,
Yeah, that's
see,
my
I'm like, for me, like I care about. For me, I'm opposite. I love people. I adore people. I think everyone has like a super unique story. And until you're completely a-hole to me, I love you. Like, I don't know why. Because it used to be like, I was like, fuck people. Like, they all suck. And now it's the complete opposite. But for me, it's like, I really care and I'm really invested until I don't. And then there is no turning back. There's nothing. Once you fall off that bridge, you're off.
Yeah. So I'm really good at that too. But once it's over, I'm done. Like once I get to a point where like, okay, I'm finished with this, I'm 100% done. And I think that's what separates me from my brothers specifically. We have a lot of traits that are alike, but once I'm done, I'm done. Like I'll never call somebody in. Like I almost never spoke to my father again before he died. We had a falling out, and I was just like, oh, this guy. And my wife, the only reason why, because I'll do anything for my wife, whatever it is, I'll do it. Even if it is the furthest thing, like okay, I do not want to get on an airplane and jump out of it, like a perfectly good airplane, and just jump out of it. But she wants to do it, so we're gonna go skydiving sooner or later. We've already been indoor, like practicing and all of that nonsense, and we're gonna do this. I'm probably gonna die of a heart attack because of how scared I am jumping out of an airplane, right? But I'm gonna do it for her because I love her. So she's like, no, you should tell your dad. He needs to see the kids. Blah blah blah. He may not be here forever. Now that's before we even knew he had cancer, right? So I didn't even know. But I was like, all right, whatever. So every now and then I'll take them to go see their grandfather. But I was completely like, man, I don't care. I don't care. There was one point where he was dying. This sucks to say now because he's dead. But this was before, like he had like a scare back in the day, and then he was 100% fine. But they were like, "Oh yeah, your dad's probably dying. You should go see him." Like, for what? Why? And my wife was like, "Babe," and I'm like, hey, "That fool don't want to see me. I don't want to see him. The feeling's mutual. Like, what? I don't think he feels any different than I do." It's like, but yeah. So I understand that when it's over for me, it's over. Like I don't care if you die.
Yeah, how's that first conversation?
Which
If you
one?
don't mind me asking, like the first reconnection with your dad after that happened.
That was cool. Look, I'm well versed in handling people.
Mhm.
So
Oh, extremely.
thank you. So for me, it was just like being at work. I want to be here. I don't really want to talk to this dude, but I'm make it pleasant for people around me and go about my business.
Hmm.
Yes, I came in. What's up, Dad? Blah blah blah. We just, you know how I make everybody feel like they've known me forever. Yeah. So
Yeah, absolutely.
so that's it. I just walked in. What's up, man? How you doing? Blah blah blah. They saw the kids. 'Cause one thing I never do is I never try to push my stuff on my kids. So my fear of heights, my fear of food touching together, or like people touching my food, or any of that type of stuff.
I remember that shit. That's what I think. Like fear to touch. Like, don't touch it.
I
Don't do
try
it.
not to
No.
pass my hangups onto them because I want them to be better than me. And those things that are negative traits or negative things, I don't want to pass them on to them. So
Why are they negative?
because I think so, like a fear of heights. I don't think I should be afraid of. I think that's a bad thing. Like, why am I afraid of that? I don't even know why I'm afraid of it. I am. Like, I don't know. And there's some kind of like weird weakness that I have. And like, I don't want that. And I don't want to pass that on to my kids.
I don't know. I don't see fears as like weaknesses. I would say I feel like you can always get over them at some point, right?
No, some people can't. Yeah, you just can't sometimes. What fear did you overcome?
One I overcame recently. I can start that process, but one of them was speaking. When I first joined, Keller Williams was from desk, and I hated public speaking so much. But every single meeting, like I would ask my team leader, I was like, "Hey, can I speak?" My favorite thing to do is like I really want to get good at telling stories, so like I would tell stories. I would get up there, tell stories, and I'd get off like literally only 2 minutes there. I swear to God, my Apple Watch and my Fitbit, like Kristen, like you're being chased by a bear. Like you're not there speaking. Like your heart rate is at 120. Like what are you doing? And I would just literally shake. I had to leave. I couldn't even like sit down after I spoke. I had to leave because I was gonna cry.
Hey.
Yeah, and like even I think 2 months, after like 6 8 weeks of doing it, I got good at it, and I kind of told them like my team leader told them why I wanted to do that, and they're like, "You think we wouldn't have guessed?" Just like the comments, I was like, "You gotta feel it till you make it."
Yeah.
Like don't let anyone see it. They don't know like you messed up. They don't know that you're afraid of it unless you show it. So
Yeah. Then
mm-hmm.
the other thing I live by too is never let them see you sweat.
Mm-hmm.
I would say stuff with so much confidence, even though sometimes I don't even know what the heck I be talking about. But I just say it like, yep. They're like, oh,
It is what it is.
it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, it's been about an hour, and I really enjoyed. Looking at the angry face. You know this person, Brian Alexander Richards. You know that person?
Nope.
I don't know either. Who is that? Anyway,
Oh no, I do. Tell him that. Just kidding, Brian.
he
Sorry.
can hear you maybe because my internet's
No,
acting up.
God damn it. Why did I do that?
He says off the angry face. Oh, the angry face. You got the angry face, Ryan, but you put some like weird. Like this face has no mouth, so it's just 2 eyes like this. So I don't know what it means, so I just an angry face just to confuse you as well. So
It's gonna be so.
I don't know who that is, but I can tell you right now from this picture, I don't like him.
Don't say it. Oh my god.
I have no clue who that is. Do you work with?
No.
Okay, cool. All right. I was gonna say something else, but I changed it. So this is how I know that I consider you a friend of mine. I changed it because I didn't know the relationship that you had this with this person, and I was like, I don't want to put her in a weird situation. But so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say
Okay,
this.
no, I know I want to know what you're gonna say.
I was gonna say, I can tell from this picture, he's no Tom. That's what I was gonna say. See, you shouldn't ask. Don't ask questions whose answers you don't
I
want.
always don't know. I always don't know. I'll deal with the consequences later.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. I could tell from the picture, he's no Tom. But look, we've been on for about an hour, so it's catching up with you. I'm gonna have to I'll probably just give you a call off air, just kind of chat, whatever. But I appreciate it. It was good just telling stories. This is what I do every like. It used to be every Tuesday. I think I'm gonna do on Tuesday, Thursday because a couple of my other hosts can't make it. So I'll probably do like a interview style because I have a fan base that I built over COVID that really enjoys this. Versus me, one other person kind of talking about live stuff, just things in general. And then I have the fans that have been here all the time, but like the shenanigans of what happens where there's like 6 people talking and yelling and crazy stuff going on. You know, so I think I'm gonna do one like this on Tuesdays and then one like the other one on Thursdays.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you want to come back for that one and get hit on by Just Mike, that'd be great too.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Sounds
not
like a
this
plan.
Tuesday.
Can I connect to him?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. So literally we say and do whatever we want, which is often why we get demonetized. But I'm really happy for like Anchor FM. They never really demonetize us. They always make sure we get paid. So I appreciate that a lot from them. So like YouTube and stuff like that, we've been demonetized so many times just for our shenanigans. So like I think they took
You guys might-
monetization away on YouTube. Like we don't have the ability anymore to get monetized.
Again, that means you're doing something right. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you get censored a lot nowadays. So.
Yeah, dude, I don't even think that many people were interested, to just take our monetization away. Anyways, but no, I appreciate having you on. You're not yet follower or anything, so I'll say where can they follow? If you guys need a house and you're in California,
Yeah. Or if you're all over the U.S., it connects literally all over.
Kristen with a K, Realtor one, all one word, underscore, none of that.
None of that is all one word.
All right, hit on there and then have her sell you a house, mother.
And jump back. All right.
And hold on, I'm gonna end the show, and then I'll hit you right after the. Wait, where's the outro? Oh, there it is. All right, I always gotta wait for a little bit to end it on Facebook, because they will just pay out. Yeah, that was fun. I had a blast.
Yeah, cool. It's a long time since we talked.
I know.
Could reminisce about everything.
Yeah, and just see like the growth. Like, you're like a woman now, so that, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no, we're gonna
how long ago was that? 3 years? 2 years?
have 2 years.
No, well, 2018,
I was
2019.
21. Oh yeah, I'm about to be 24. Probably 3 soon.
Yeah, so you're like, now you're like mid-20s. You're like, you're becoming like a grown up. Like, oh shit, Krissy's not just like a doe-eyed girl fresh out of high school, college area. You're like businesswoman now, and it's a weird growth to see.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been super awkward, a lot of fun. And it's like now a career that I want to really pursue. So it's I went from going to school and not even knowing what I would do to actually knowing what I want to do. So it's been fun. It's a roller coaster.
You're gonna kill it. I really believe that you can do whatever it is you set your mind to. I don't say that to a lot of people because I don't believe it for a lot of people. I just don't. I try to be honest. As long as you know me, one
Yeah.
thing. I will tell you what I honestly think. I'm not gonna gas you up. If you suck, you suck. Right? If I didn't believe that you'd be able to do it, I would tell you that because I can't sleep with myself. Being that person. But I always knew you'd be great at whatever it is you just have to find what it is.
I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you.
Yeah, I totally mean it. I really, whatever it is you decided to just like, I'm gonna do this shit. I feel like you're great at it. So real estate seems like you found a home. I remember you working at our desk and you really want to be like show homes and stuff like that and be a part of it. So I'm glad you are now. You got to renew your license like every 2 years, right? Is it 4 years? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, why did I think it was 2? I don't know. I had my real estate license like 2006 or 8. When did the market crash? 8? Was that 08?
Mm-hmm.
So I had just got my license January 08, and then everything went to shit in like summer of 08 or something. So
Damn.
I never ended up like pursuing it. I was working for Remax. That's a thing, right? Remax.
Yeah, they're a big brokerage.
Yeah. So they somebody I know paid for my like licensing classes and then the tests. I was like, all right, cool, thanks. And he was like, all right, pay me back when you sell your home. It's like, all right. So probably like I had the like provisional licensing. We took a test or whatever. And you have like that. Was that? You have like 9 months to finish 2 other things or something or shit like that. I can't remember. What is the first thing you get? You get your license, and then you have 18 months to do something else or take a different test or something, and then you did that. I don't know. Maybe it's different now. I don't know.
Maybe it might be like you have to register with an actual board.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
They have a
Okay.
certain amount of time,
Yeah.
right? They have a certain amount of time to do
Yeah,
it.
I think so.
Yeah, so I was in that phase, but I was working with Remax, and like I sold my first house in like the first weekend or something.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, it's a dope ass house.
Buy it.
The people were like, excuse me. I was like, oh, I'm really new at this, so I'm gonna screw up a lot. But if I was buying a house, I'd buy this one. And the dude that I was like shadowing, he was like, you could tell he was like freaking out. And I was like, guys, do you see this house? Like, do you see it? I said, okay, now let me ask you one question. They said, what? I said, can you see yourself living in this house? Like, living here? I'm like, kids, marking on the wall, doing all of that. I was like, because if you can't, leave right now. And then they start talking about it. They were mingling back and forth, and they're like, we're going to put an offer in. And they did, and that was people who bought the house.
Damn. Just like that.
Where'd you come up with all that stuff? I said, I don't know, dude. I was just thinking. Like, if I was buying a house, these are the things I would look at. And so I asked them, and they liked it. So,
Yeah, it's your personal.
yeah, I just like, that's the way I would shop. Like right now, we're looking for a house out here. And the house, that's not the way you say that. We're looking for a house out here. And I go in the house, and I'm like, do I see myself in here? Like, nah, this ain't the one. I'm dipping. And I just leave right away.
Just walk in, you turn like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it.
I make up my mind quick. I'm like, yep, I like this one, or no, I don't. Real quick. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just that way. My wife, she wants to think it over. She's green. I'm not a green. I'm a red. I know what I want.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I forgot about the color. We call it we have letters for it.
Sure.
Like high D, high I, disc, DSSC. Same exact concept basically.
Yep.
Same exact thing. I'm red and blue.
Yep.
But in disc, yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, you're a red blue still. But what I've noticed is you've like grown to where it's not dysfunctional blue anymore. So it used to be a little dysfunctional blue where it's like, yeah, whatever, let's drive to the beach. Like, okay, And now you're like, oh, I got this thing to do. But I will go to the beach Saturday. Right.
Yeah, it's a lot more organized and planned out. Still like to have my fun, but I have to prioritize other things for sure.
Yeah, it's hard to hear about Tom. Well, not really, but kind of.
Dude, I've been so fucking happy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it on the air because I never want, but God,
Just
damn,
randomly,
I'm so unhappy.
and he'd be like, let me click this, and he did. That would be funny.
I actually think he already has another girl, so.
Yeah, he blew that.
But
He blew that because you're a pretty amazing individual in general.
thank you.
But I'm pretty sure probably one of the hottest chicks he's ever dated. On top of that, so
The girls know my bros.
you know what I'm saying? You feel me? I'm not. Look, I don't know Tom. He was always great to me. He always treated you well when I was around. Or you never called me and been like, Tom's such an a-hole. He did this, right? So I don't really have any ill will or ill thoughts. But just like if you were to ask me, has this guy dated really hot women? My answer would be no. And then when they're like, "Well, he dated Krissy,"
I'm like potential candidates.
Yeah, I'd really like how? How did you date her? But I know you, so
That means a lot. I really appreciate that.
well, yeah. But I know you, so I'm like not as superficial in a way that I am, right? You're like, let me talk to him. Oh, he's a really great person, or whatever, and then you want to get to know him. Me, I'm like, he's ugly. I ain't talking to that motherfucker.
Next.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I'm gonna start sending you like potential candidates. Hey, Gene, what do you think about this one? Yes.
So-
You're gonna be like my Tinder swipe left or right.
Type. So, do you remember that how me and Rodney would interview? Like, do you remember the people we'd look at the candidates like, no, they just don't. They don't look part. Like, and I know you're not supposed to do that. Like, I know, but
In sales, it's pretty important.
how many ugly real estate agents is out there? It ain't very many.
And successful ones?
Not
Yeah.
successful ones. No way. Not ones that are crushing it. It doesn't happen. Look, people are attracted to beautiful people, not just physically, not just sexually. Just they want to be around someone that's gorgeous. It's just So I don't understand why we can't hire that. Like I don't understand. Like I understand body positivity, right? But I don't understand why you can't also enjoy beautiful people. Why does it have to be one or another? Like, look, if a fat person wants to be confident and sexy in their body, that's great. But also, I feel like if I don't think that that's sexy, I could say that Giselle Bundchen's sexier than her. Like I feel like I should have the right to be able to feel that way, right?
Absolutely. I think that people have gotten so sensitive nowadays that it's like you should like love and accept and think that everybody's beautiful and there are just some ugly people.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. There's some
and if you're
human beings.
confident, that's freaking awesome. But
That Oompa Loompa guy was ugly as hell, right?
I mean, yes, sir.
Like, yeah, the factory. You remember that?
I was cracking up. I literally remember like hiding behind the desk and crouching down because I like had to bite my shirt. I was laughing so hard. Like, oh my god.
And I did it without flinching too. That was the funny part. It's like,
That's what killed me.
yeah.
He was like, hey, watch it. And he walked down with such confidence.
Oh, like what was that? I don't know. But that was the kind of fun we had. And I'm telling you, look, I don't want to say because I knew a team member on my team today was watching. I was a Mackenzie girl. I knew she was going to watch because she watches everything. But I just my team now, for one, sales wise, couldn't even compare to that team. But just being around you guys, right? Like I dwindled the team down. Remember, we only had like 6 people, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, on my sales team, it was you, Caesar, Craich, J-Bone, Meech would come in every now and then. And then later on, I hired like Dean and Malia, but they came after you kind of left. I had to hire them because you left. But it was just us, and we were beating the shit out of people. Yeah, and just pretty much hitting budget every month. You know, yeah,
And also getting OT.
yeah, and everybody's getting OT, right?
I remember looking at these. I was like, the fuck?
Devil had like 170 hours for the month.
Jesus Christ.
So that's what I found out here in Texas. Like, for one, you don't get OT until you hit 40 hours for the week. So you could work 4 12-hour days and barely get OT.
Damn.
You're only getting 8 hours of OT.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's different. And the people here just go home. Like, oh, my shift is up. I'm out. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, my GM comes at 7 and leaves at like 3 or 4.
They don't what? You and Robbie are from bell to bell.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, look, I know what it takes to run a successful gym. It takes the 2 leaders in sales in the club most of the day, and it wasn't like we took all the sales. It was like we're there for training, and we're there to TO or to help or you know whatever it was. We were there for you guys, right? Moral support. You know, a quick hey, pick me up in the middle of the day, like hey, Krissy, go do some outside leads or something. You know, like you know what I'm saying? It just they don't do that. They don't do that here. It's not even something they like to do.
Interesting. That's a whole other.
It is. It's a crazy culture. Yeah, it's a crazy culture of laziness. I was shocked to see how lazy people are out here. But yeah, I just basically got told by my GM that I'm going to get the promotion to a different gym because the guy thinks I'm not ready. Who literally a year ago told me I was 100% ready. But I gened some things up. You know, I don't hold my tongue. I just say how it is. I deal with whatever consequences come. So, we had a meeting back in October that I completely went full gene on, and it wasn't a good idea. But I've crushed my goals ever since. So, like I said, we did 160% in COVID January. You know, we crushed. I just didn't sell fitness. So, like, yeah, but why didn't you sell fitness? I said, because it wasn't.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah, my budget. You ask her what happened.
You've been listening to the What Happens When podcast. Tune in next time to find out God knows what.
The fitness department is really destroyed. It's not anything what it used to look like. It's really bad right now. It would suck to be a trainer in this climate. Yeah. Mackenzie just texted me. Yeah. Mackenzie just texted me right now. She said,